These almond tahini cookies are free of gluten, eggs, dairy, and oil, but they are full of deliciousness. Quick and simple to make with no mixer required, these pretty little cookies might just become your new favorite. Hello, I'm Catherine, Brian's behind the camera, and these almond tahini cookies are the perfect accompaniment to a tea or a coffee in the afternoon. They're not overly sweet, but they are full of flavor.
So delicious. What else do you have to say? Because I'm hoping there's not much, because I'm just gonna keep eating cookies.
Yeah, these are really good. And they're simple to make, so I'll show you how. I don't need a mixer for this recipe because I'm not creaming the sugar with any butter, so I just need 2 bowls, one for the dry ingredients and one for the wet ingredients. And although I'm not creaming the sugar, I am going to pay it a little special attention. Start by preheating your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit and add 1/3 cup cane sugar to a large bowl. Zest 1 lemon and add the lemon zest to the sugar. Quickly massage the zest into the sugar to infuse all of your sugar with that bright lemony flavor and aroma. This is something I've been wanting to incorporate into a recipe since I saw Erin Jean McDowell do it in Bake It Up a Notch. And if you love baking, check out her channel because it's full of these simple little tips that just help you take your baking up a notch. If you have a recipe where you're adding lemon zest and sugar, then just take an extra minute and massage the lemon zest into the sugar. What happens is that the abrasiveness of the sugar breaks down the lemon zest, releases all of the oils, then the sugar absorbs those oils, and now you have, like, this smells amazing. So now you have this lemon-infused sugar flowing through your entire recipe. All this being said, I have made this recipe without the lemon, and it still makes a really delicious almond tahini cookie. So if you don't have a fresh lemon, then you can skip this step. Next, for the almond part of this recipe, I'm using almond flour. And if you're using a kitchen scale, then measure out 190 grams of almond flour. If you're using measuring cups though, then make sure to spoon and level your flour. So you'll spoon it all in. I'm gonna wait for me to demonstrate all of this. So you spoon it all in and then just take a knife and level it off. If you don't do this and you just dip into your bag and scoop almond flour, you'll end up using more than you need. And almond flour is a pricier ingredient, so there's no need to use more than you need to. If you scoop, then the flour will compress and you'll end up scooping more. So remember, spoon and level. Add 190 grams or 2 cups of spooned and leveled almond flour to the lemon-infused sugar. Next, add 1/2 teaspoon baking soda and just 1/8 teaspoon sea salt. Stir to combine. That's it for the dry ingredients. So now for the wet ingredients, and this is where some more baking magic happens. In my vegan gluten-free chocolate chip cookie recipe, I whisk up a cool egg replacer that's a combination of melted vegan butter, baking powder, and plant milk. And this oil plus baking powder plus water or milk combination froths up and can be folded into your baked goods like you would fold whipped egg whites in. For this recipe, since I'm using tahini, I wondered if the natural oils in tahini mixed with baking powder and plant milk would be enough to create that frothy reaction. And to my delight, they were. In a separate bowl, add 3 tablespoons tahini, 1/4 cup non-dairy milk, 1 tablespoon lemon juice, which is usually half of a fresh lemon, and 1/2 teaspoon pure almond extract to boost up the almond flavor. Sprinkle in 2 teaspoons baking powder and whisk to combine. As you whisk, this mixture will foam up. Once it's nice and foamy, make a well in the dry ingredients and pour the foamy wet ingredients into the dry. Stir to combine. How cool is that? I love that using the natural oils in the tahini provides these cookies with a nice texture and a rich flavor without having to add in a highly refined oil. And remember, you can omit the lemon juice if you don't have a fresh lemon, or you can use a concentrated lemon juice. You can also omit the almond extract if you don't have any, or if you're sensitive to the flavor of extracts and things. Without it, the cookies just won't have as strong of an almond flavor. The 3 ingredients that you cannot omit, though, are the tahini, tahini, the baking powder, and the plant milk. Without those three, that foamy reaction won't occur. And if you're sciencey and you're thinking, well, the lemon juice reacts with the baking powder and creates that foam, you are absolutely right. But even without the lemon juice, that mixture of tahini, baking powder, and plant milk will still froth up. It won't froth up nearly as much as what you just saw, but it will still work. So whisk and you shall make foam, as long as your baking powder is not expired. Add 1/3 cup sliced almonds to a small dish and use a small cookie scoop or tablespoon to scoop the dough. With the dough loosely formed into a ball, roll half the ball of dough in the almonds. Place the ball of dough almond side up on the cookie sheet and gently press down on the cookie to flatten it. Tidy the edges of the cookie and fix the almonds as needed. Repeat with all of the cookie dough so you have about 15 small cookies, making sure to leave a bit of space between each cookie. These cookies won't spread very much as they bake, so you need to leave a little bit of room between them, but you don't need a ton of space between each cookie. I originally partnered with Starfrit for this cookie recipe, and they sent me their new carbon steel cookie sheet. In this one, I haven't had to grease, and the cookies come up perfectly. But if your cookie sheet has a tendency to stick, then either lightly grease it with some vegan butter or line it with some parchment paper or a baking mat. And kind of fun fact, if you're really pressed for time, I have tested just keeping these cookies in this cute kind of like ice cream scoop shape, and it works. You don't have to change the baking time, and they'll just kind of bake up in this little dome if you want, for a little shaping alternate. I've also tried different methods for getting the almonds to stick on here, and I found that this rolling them in the almonds, pressing them flat, and then tidying them to be the fastest way. It was a little more time consuming for me to shape the cookies and then try to sprinkle almonds on or stick them on individually, because it was harder for the almonds to actually stick into the dough. And these almonds will get nice and toasty in the oven. This already smells good. They're gonna smell so much better once they're baking, so I'm gonna get these in the oven. Bake in the preheated oven on the middle rack for 15 minutes until lightly browned around the edges. The cookies will still be a little soft right out of the oven, so allow them to cool for at least 5 minutes on the cookie sheet before transferring them to a wire cooling rack to cool completely. Once fully cooled, sprinkle with organic powdered sugar for a beautiful finishing touch. How pretty are these? I absolutely love how delicate these look. If you're wondering why I'm saying organic powdered sugar, it's because not all powdered sugar, icing sugar, confectioner's sugar is considered vegan. Organic cane sugar is processed without the use of animal bones, but white sugar is usually refined with bone char. So if you need a fully vegan icing sugar, powdered sugar, then make sure it says organic, and that's usually a safe way to tell. And along the same vein, I should mention that you should make sure that your baking powder is gluten-free if you need that to be the case. With all that out of the way, now comes the fun part, the taste test. That's really good.
You know, it's a mean thing to do to a guy. I had to smell these cookies the whole time we were filming. Man, that was tough.
I'm sorry. I did have a few extra made that I made last night. I could have.
And I was good. I didn't say anything because I love a cookie. I don't think I could ever say no to a cookie.
There's no flavor of cookie that you would turn down? Even lemon?
Especially not lemon. I love these cookies. I think they're great. Let's do it.
But you weren't the biggest fan of the lemon chia pudding.
The fresh lemon, I think, is probably better.
Mm-hmm. Are you sure? Because you sort of look like you might be like struggling.
Yeah, so bad. Yeah, but this is a cookie.
So that.
It's all is forgiven. Oh. That's a good cookie. That's a great cookie. Where's our tea and book?
I know. And book. Oh,
and
so
a blanket.
cozy.
These are delicious. Oh my goodness.
Do you like the lemon flavor in it? Because I do have a few that I made without lemon last night. So you can test that too and see if you tell a difference. These are so rich in flavor because of the almond flour and the tahini. So there's lots of healthy fats in there which make it like really toasty and really rich.
They taste really decadent.
But they're still sort of light. It's not like eating like a big chocolate cookie or something.
Yeah, they look like they should be in a store window of like a little French patisserie. So these are the non-lemons?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so give that one a try.
I prefer the lemon.
Yeah.
I'm a changed man.
I still think these are really tasty. And you just get more of like the toastiness, but the lemon just kind of lightens it up a little bit more. And to store these, you can store them on the counter for about 3 days in an airtight container or in the fridge for longer, if they last that long.
So delicious. What else do you have to say? Because I'm hoping there's not much, because I'm just going to keep eating cookies.
Yeah, these are really good. 15 of these small cookies cost me $5.10 Canadian. So the almond flour is a pricier ingredient for us, and a lemon costs us $1. But considering how much a vegan, gluten-free, oil-free cookie might be to buy even packaged ones from the store or from a cafe, it's probably going to be quite a bit more than $5.10. Even though these are small, I think they're still pretty cost effective for making something like this at home.
They're just really good. I strongly suggest making them.
You know, you want some tea and a book and a blanket. Do you have a cookie suggestion for the next one to try?
Ooh.
It's too much thinking. Like, comment, share, all those things that help our channel to grow. This cookie is linked in the description below for you. And cuddle up with some tea.
And I'm going to have one more, because why not?
Oh, just all in one. One bite.
Mm-hmm.